everybody to another episode of the Morning Brief with Jimmy Song and Tone Ways. My name is Valentin Schmidt. I'll be the host for today. Jimmy is a bit sick. He's suffering from a pollen invasion in Texas, so you won't be seeing him today, but he will comment as much as possible on some great stories we have, including Jamie, aka Bitcoin is a fraud, Diamon, the CEO of JP Morgan. He actually told CNBC that he regrets making that comment that Bitcoin is a fraud. Wouldn't you guess? Tone.
Well, yeah, it's good that at least he's focusing on Bitcoin. But like, if you look at the comments, right? Look, he says the blockchain is real, and then it says you can have crypto dollars in yen and stuff like that, like ICOs. You got to look at everything individually. Like, he still doesn't have the right advisors, like telling them what this stuff is. So I'm not sure what his understanding of it is. Like, Bitcoin and all of these alternatives, they're very, very different. And I'm sure people are going to be trying to convince him for JP Morgan to ICO, like they've convinced a couple of other publicly traded companies to ICO, which I think they're going to get delisted. So my advice is Jamie he has the ability to reach out to the right people. Like, call Andreas. He'll explain it to you. But yeah, I mean, it's not surprising. He probably got a lot of backlash, and the price continues to go up. And now that his company has to clear the futures, they got to take another look at things.
So yeah, Jamie's definitely in the camp that's all about blockchain and doesn't like Bitcoin that much. But thanks a lot for retracting, saying that it's a fraud and regretting it. Jimmy, what's your opinion on Jamie?
It's like a lot of people that criticize Bitcoin and then look really, really stupid afterwards. It's mostly, I'm sorry that I look stupid when I did what I did. Not really anything about the actual content of it. A lot of CEOs act this way. You guys remember, I called out Ramit about his tweet, his email saying like Bitcoin's a fraud or something like that. A lot of CEOs, I think, have the same sort of mentality. It's let's minimize the PR disaster that this is by criticizing Bitcoin and see what we could do. These guys are mostly in big companies. They're political. They want to handle the PR the right way. I mean, it's good that he regrets it, but I don't know how much we can trust that. Just because he's a CEO, prideful guy, he's most likely just saying it to get the shareholders off his back.
Yeah, and the thing is, this is going to get really, really complicated in the near future because, look, I continue to say Ethereum is a scam, right? And I continue to look. I know technologically that's a correct statement, unlike Bitcoin, right? But what's happening right now in the sphere is Jamie Dimon tomorrow might come out and start talking good about Ethereum. And what does that mean? Like, I think Jamie is finally getting on the right page about Bitcoin, but is he going to swing his mental pendulum in the other direction and start talking about Ripple in the near future, right? I mean, this is the problem that we're dealing with. How do you get these guys to understand that something like Bitcoin is legit, but something like Ethereum and Ripple and, someone is probably calling him. All right. Do you mind muting?
Yeah.
Thank you. Someone's probably calling him right now about trying to explain to him how some shitcoin down at number 308 on the Bitcoin market cap list is like the greatest thing to ever happen to the world of technology, right? Like, how do you prevent him from getting on a bandwagon on something dumb because someone is just trying to scam him? That was kind of like an open question. I don't know if anybody wants to jump in.
As with everything, it's a continued education, but definitely from an incentive point of view of a big bank, a big company, Jamie Dimon really doesn't have a big incentive to get into Bitcoin and more into the other things or the legacy systems. Let's hope he doesn't get into an ICO of the name of FM tokens, which sold 5 million worth of tokens. And then the CEO took off. Similar to the other one, it's like a pornography type of thing. Similar to what was the other one? The Eros. Yeah, They raised 10 million and then they took off. They wanted to develop a decentralized prostitution network. Tony, you had some comments on this one.
Well, in general, like, it's actually unfortunate that some of the more interesting coins are the ones that are actually scamming people. Yeah, look, every token, this can happen to like every token. See, this is what people have to realize, that the developers that are making these tokens, they basically have nothing else to do, and they want to make some money for their development. So they'll come up and they'll invent whatever sounds nice. I continue to ask people that, like, they're all pitching me like the dumbest ideas for decentralization. Like, we need to decentralize 911. We need to decentralize, you walking into your house. And I'm like, how come that a single person has yet considered decentralizing email? Again, open question. Please come.
Yeah, don't give them any ideas, Tone. I mean,
Right.
Well, I mean, look at Telegram. They're trying to decentralize messaging. I don't think email's far away.
I don't think that. No. I don't think that's what the coin is for. I think the coin is just for them to make some money. I mean, I haven't heard anything from Telegram saying that they're going to decentralize messaging. They just want an ICO as like versus an IPO. But these ideas are silly, and if they can get a bunch of money and walk away with it, that's fine. So another thing you have to realize about these coins, and oh wait, I thought I had it somewhere here. Nope, that's the next story. Shoot. I had to tweet something out. All right, so that means I have to go here and lists and my Bitcoin sanity checklist. And there was a great, that was a fun tweet also. But look, how good is your cryptocurrency if it goes down for maintenance? I mean, I don't recall the euro or the US dollar ever going down for maintenance. Bitcoin doesn't exactly go down for maintenance. It works. Sometimes it works a little slower for you if you don't want to pay a fee. Sometimes the fee is a little high if you want to get your transactions done. But your token should not be going down where people are waiting on the developers. Oh, I'm sorry. Why did I use the plural? Developer. And since I was on my list, I saw one of these. That was actually hilarious. Yep, that's pretty much what your average crypto developer looks like if it's not in Bitcoin.
Okay, Jimmy.
Yeah, the whole fact that Zcash is down right now just tells you that it's centralized, right? Like what has downtime? It's centralized services. If you have a centralized service, you take it down for maintenance, you upgrade everything, and then you put it back online. That's what centralized services do. And this, like when you have a centralized crypto that raised a ton of money, this is what CEOs are going to do. I mean, we've seen this in Bitcoin for a long time, right? Neo and B a long time ago, they raised a bunch of money. They just took it and left because it was in Bitcoin and it wasn't multi-sig, so the CEO just took it.
No, that was a little complicated. I actually spoke to the CEO the other day at a conference. That one isn't. You should look into that one. That was a little bit different. I mean, he didn't actually feel anything. It's all been like tied up in the courts.
Well, regardless, it's very easy for a centralized company to commit fraud on people, and this is why we like Bitcoin better than all of these other projects, because it's not centralized. And when you invest in an ICO, when you invest in a lot of these altcoins, you have a centralized system most of the time, and it's not really any different than investing in a public company or a central bank or something like that. It's
well, no, it's very different. The chances of you being defrauded are infinitely higher in this space than in the traditional space. It's completely
yeah. So there's regulation around centralized entities largely because of the fraud, and right now it's the Wild West, so you can get defrauded very easily. So you have to be very careful out there. That's just my comment on it.
Yes, be careful, and also be careful if you're trying to arbitrage the Korean spread trade. As we all know, most cryptocurrencies or crypto assets are trading at a premium in Korea, and the normal market forces, market rules would have said that this premium should have decreased a long time ago. And now we had the story that CoinMarketCap took out some of the Korean exchanges because of the regulatory investigation, and that's what basically made the whole space dump. Ton, what do you make of the prices and also the arbitrage?
I like how Bloomberg refers to it as the kimchi premium. That's great. Whoever made that chart. Yeah, these.
That's not racist at all.
Yeah. Sorry, Jimmy. Look, it's really hard to do these cross-border arbitrage trades because you have to move the fiat, right? And people are like, "Oh, it's easy to move the fiat. You can just use, whatever Tether or some other cryptocurrency of choice." And this is the argument we end up in. People just don't understand. Well, like when we say in our arguments of Ripple that Ripple itself is the transaction fee. Stop looking at the transaction fee to move Ripple. Ripple is the transaction fee because you shouldn't need a currency to move a document from one bank to another. It's just dumb. So buying into Ripple is the transaction fee itself. Just like buying into Bitcoin to do remittance, Bitcoin itself is the transaction fee, not the transaction fee of moving the Bitcoin. Which is why anyone that has ever started a company using Bitcoin for remittance realized real quick how silly the idea is and how the company is not actually profitable and just loses the money, and Western Union is just better. That's just been I haven't seen a single Bitcoin remittance company that's doing well. It just doesn't work that way. And it's the same thing here. Like it's hard to take advantage of this arbitrage, and at the same time, because the prices have gotten so out of hand, CoinMarketCap has pretty much removed them. Let me see. View all, and I guess this is why the price of Ripple dropped so heavily because it got removed from the Korean exchanges, and I guess the price of Bitcoin dipped a little bit as well on CoinMarketCap, which, as you notice, I've never ever charted the price of Bitcoin on the Korean exchanges, nor have I ever charted the price of Bitcoin on the Chinese exchanges, right? I mean, I had this argument 2 years ago. People are like, Tone, how come you're not using Chinese yuan for your Bitcoin price analysis? That's what's driving everything. And I just called everyone an idiot back then. I'm like, no, that's ridiculous. Their volume was fake. Their volume was low. And nobody cares because the only price that matters is the US dollar price. And, eventually I won that argument.
What about the arbitrage? Why is it so difficult?
Jimmy, you want to take this one?
From what I understand, it's actually hard to get the cash out of Korea, and you need to execute that part of the trade in order to make it work. And what can you do? It's there are all sorts of anti-money laundering laws and know your customer laws and stuff like that in both countries. So if you try to execute a very large trade, like you're gonna get capital control restricted, and you could do it for small amounts, 5, 10 grand, but anything larger than that, you can't even do a full Bitcoin. Right now, Bitcoin is trading in the 20,000 range in Korea. It would be great if people can jump on that, but it just reflects the state of the two countries and the how central banks control it.
Yeah, and capital rules really suck. I mean, I'm going to be in Asia as of this weekend. I would love to swing by Korea, but what can I do? I can sell half a Bitcoin, right? Because I can't bring back more than $10,000 on an airplane. I don't want to get arrested either. So is it worth it to go to Korea to sell half a Bitcoin for cash? Probably not.
So we're going to see the premium continue probably, because the funny thing is that Korea and Japan, both, they have very favorable local regulations for Bitcoin and crypto, but they have harsh regulations on the fiat side, which makes it difficult to get the money out. Good news for last, Jimmy pulled up the story, which is TorGuard accepts mainnet Lightning Network BTC payments, so you can pay for your VPN using the Lightning Network. And I think there were some other tweets that showed that this has already happened. Jimmy, you thought this was quite significant.
Yeah, a lot of people were talking about how Lightning's not here yet. A lot of people with FUD, there's like, well, it'll get here in 6 months. Especially a lot of Bitcoin Cash people. It's not true. It's working right now. You can go send money. It's just that the infrastructure still needs to be built out. I mean, like we're nowhere near where we need to be, but you can do Lightning transactions right now and pay TorGuard. You can also do it on yalls.org or whatever it is. It's easy enough. It's there as far as the tech is concerned. It's just a matter of getting everybody to adopt it. And this is something that's native to all decentralized things. Is that you need everyone. You can't force people to upgrade. So everyone pretty much has to wait for the infrastructure to catch up. This is why SegWit adoption is taking forever, is because you can't force everyone to use SegWit. It's got a lot of economic incentives to make that happen. But again, like companies are slow. They're often built on technology from 4 or 5 years ago, and they're not nimble enough. This is where, if you want to start a business, this is a great way to like disrupt players in the Bitcoin space. People think like they're like entrenched. This is a decentralized system, man. You could like Coinbase doesn't have to lead in exchanging money. There can easily be a competitor that uses Lightning, that uses SegWit, that uses all this really good technology, make it cheaper for their customers and everything else, and completely disrupt them. And there's no government that's going to give you a moat. There's no government that's going to give you, rent so you can rent seek and stuff like that. This is the beautiful thing about a truly decentralized system. And TorGuard is showing, hey, where they have a lot of competition in the VPN space, but now that they have Lightning and everything, man, I might sign up just to see what it's like and to learn how to use the Lightning wallet that they already have. And I really hope that this sort of innovation is driven by the community in the sense that like a lot of people in the community should sign up for this to encourage Lightning adoption.
Oh, and yeah, that was very well said, Jimmy. And if you are going to sign up, here comes the infomercial part of this program for today. If you are going to sign up, if you hit the Buy VPN Now, you choose if you want to prepay for a year. Let's say you want to prepay for a year. And then once you go to actually add it to your cart, I spoke to TorGuard just yesterday, and they have given me a Tone 50% discount code. So if you use Tone 50, you will see the price drop, hopefully, by 50%. So there you go. So you can save 50% on your TorGuard subscription just by using Tone 50 as a discount code. This link and this promo code is in my video description. So go ahead and
click checkout, Tone, so we could see if you could pay with Lightning.
Oh, you sure you want me to try this on live air? Do you really want to ruin the Lightning project for the next year and a half?
Oh, no. Click Bitcoin, Litecoin, and crypto on the bottom there. On the bottom. Okay. Yeah, right there. Bitcoin, Litecoin, and crypto, and click checkout. Let's see what it looks like.
Okay.
I don't think it clicked through or something like that.
I already have the VPN, right? Like maybe I should like pay for a month or something instead of pay for another year.
No. I just want to see the interface. That's all. That's what I'm curious about.
I think.
You have to enter some stuff first. Okay, never mind that.
Yeah,
we don't want you to talk yourself.
Maybe we'll do a demo on another video, but yeah, we'll check this out because this just came to us yesterday, so it's
I'm really curious. I actually will sign up just to play with the Lightning stuff.
Yeah, so you should sign up. You should record your screen, and then you can like blur out, some of your information, and take it from there.
All right, sounds good.
And then maybe we can play the video or something later this week.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. But yeah, no, great. Hey guys, great job, TorGuard. I was actually also having a discussion with a couple of wallets, and I'm like, hey, when are you guys gonna go to native SegWit? for your phone wallets, because we just don't have that right now, right? Like the only wallet that went native SegWit was Electrum, and we just saw some recent problems, so they're not exactly, the darling of recommendations these days. So, and it's a chicken and egg problem from what I'm understanding, because I'm hearing that native SegWit is a bit of a UI nightmare, or UX nightmare. I always used to call it UI. So, like a lot of these SPV phone wallets, they don't really want to have big problems with customer support by trying to go native SegWit right now, and there's and other things need to be in line, and there needs to be some more standardization on the code. So I'm waiting which phone wallet is going to be the first one to give us BC1 address.
Can you show the SegWit adoption, Tone?
Oh yeah, let's talk about the mempool. Speaking of SegWit, before we go to the mempool, I mean, SegWit adoption is just a little disappointing. It's a little disappointing. I mean, this was a good time, and then I'm not sure what actually happened here. I don't know. I guess maybe a lot of people moved their coins, were pulling out their Bcash or something, and now we're kind of flatlined at this.
Actually, that's right around when Bitcoin Gold hard fork. That's interesting. Like
I think that's a coincidence. I really can't. Wait, around the time of Bitcoin Gold. You know what this might have been, actually? If I had to guess, I think this, because I was part of this as well, I think this was people migrating in preparation for the 2x hard fork.
Like, yeah, that might be right. Yeah.
People consolidating their coins, expecting the 2x, which never came, and then boom. So that's what I think that is. But yeah, this is disappointing. I mean, we're at 10%. And yeah, transactions are going to stay high. Transaction fees are going to stay high. Transaction time is going to stay high until we can get this up to 90%.
So we're still waiting for more SegWit adoption, but there's still good news on Lightning. It's definitely moving forward. Jimmy, do you have comments on the mempool, or can we go to price?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get in a transaction, you're still probably going to have to pay 300 to 500 if you want to be absolutely sure. But we're starting to eat into that gray area, which is 100 to 140. If you need it done in a day, I think 150 you could probably get something in there. But yeah, it continues to be just you have to wait and this is how things are right now, and we'll see if some of this goes down. There's obviously a lot of people that are using the network.
Again, like if I was to send the transaction right now, I'd probably try it at about 150, 160 satoshis per byte. That should probably clear me in about a day. That's kind of my rule of thumb. All right. Let's talk about the price. I've actually, I'm still doing screen share. Those of you that were here in the beginning of the video, probably hearing a nice sound difference. And because I'm back in New York, I flew in from Medellin, Colombia last night. It was an overnight flight. Wasn't really paying attention to the price of Bitcoin. And the weekly chart looks about the same as it did the last time we did this video. Working on this weird triangle. Again, like these 2 weeks, I mean, this was the Wall Street adopting the futures market. So like a lot of these prices could have been somewhat skewed. So let's see if this triangle develops into an ascending triangle that's able to pop Bitcoin back up. Though the weekly chart right now is not all that interesting because we're still on a Tuesday. So a lot of time left to go. Daily chart is a lot more interesting. I believe the other day, I tweeted out that this could be a potential low, be based on the rules of a triangle breakout. So there's a couple of things that people are doing right now. So first of all, the current candle is not ideal. You really want this to be a more sustained bounce. So this is starting to be a little bit more problematic. So several things. First of all, some people are already starting to adjust this triangle to be a bigger triangle, something like this, right? Me personally, I would not do this because I like drawing my triangles with 3 points, not 2 points, right? And even though you kind of have 2 points along the bottom, you only have 1 point along the top if you don't count the starting point. So I still prefer this to be the triangle, like something like that, where you have a couple of points along the bottom, a starting point, and then 2 additional points right here, okay, as we broke out. So I'm still liking this one. I still like this for a bounce. But if we get back near this low, things start to become very ugly and in a hurry. Someone also asked me a question the other day. Hey, Tone, so if you're in this bullish trade as of yesterday, where is there resistance? And my answer is there is no resistance, okay? Like to me, if we're going to go up, there's really no resistance at this point because everything becomes a double top, getting primed for being broken. Now, the good news is support keeps creeping up. We are now sitting on another Fibonacci line where another day and your 50-day moving average is going to come up to that Fibonacci line. You're still above the triangle, so there's lots of support. But the longer we hang around this area and not bounce back to 20,000, the weaker the support continues to get. And if we start closing below this 50-day moving average, if we close again below the 50-day moving average and below this Fibonacci line, Bitcoin could be in a serious bear market, potentially all the way down to the 200-day moving average, which hopefully will come up to like 8,000-9,000 by then. So once we get another low close in the vicinity of 12K 500, I'm gonna have to turn bearish across most of my time frames because next week, if next week starts trading below the price of the current week, everything kind of sort of goes bearish. So we're going to be watching this very, very carefully. Let's glance at the 4-hour. The 4-hour was the one that helped time this low right here because it was coming off of this 9, and we're now creeping back down here. So things are getting kind of bad. So the bullish trade that could have been entered off of the green 9. The stop loss on this trade is already hit. So if you were in this bullish trade, if you're still in this bullish trade and this trade is losing you money, you should have exited this trade before this trade cost you money. So at a worst case scenario, because of this big bounce, once the number turned green, and if you were in this trade, you got to start setting your stops. I mean, the moment you had a price flip, worst case scenario, this here was your stop loss on the bullish trade off of this 9. Now, if you're lucky and you entered this trade below this line, this ended up being a profitable trade. If you got into this trade above this line, then this was probably a negative trade for you. But I would not be in this bullish trade right now based on the 4-hour chart. You try to time the rise, but again, one of the things that these 9s do is a 1 to 4 candle correction, and then you kick off a countdown to 13, and this countdown is now in full swing. We get a lower close, and especially we get a lower low. I'm looking for that 13 somewhere along the bottom here. So things are not looking good at all from the 4-hour perspective. In the 1-hour perspective, you have a short-term bounce. So if you were in this trade off the 9, and you're still in this trade, and it's kind of unprofitable for you, you may want to wait a couple of hours and hope that this 9 bounces your price to maybe back to the 50-hour moving average, the 200-hour moving average. Get this 1 to 4-hour bounce before going lower. And you can see that the hourly is still counting down. So you can maybe still get out of this trade break even. But you got to be careful here, right? I mean, you just had a brand new swing close lower on the hourly. The intra hour is lower, but the swing close is low. I would be very, very careful with my bullish trades at the moment. If you're a buy and holder, you're all set.
that's the easy thing about just buying and holding. You don't have to worry about what the tone is talking about. So thanks a lot, everybody, for watching, and we'll be back tomorrow. Jimmy will hopefully be back on track, so you can enjoy seeing him as well. And yeah, thanks a lot, Jimmy.
This song is done.
Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you all later.
Wait. We offline?
Not yet. You'll see I'm going off.